Yo, what's up everybody? We're back at it. Another ranking video. Surely my comments won't get flooded this time. Anyways, we got another ranking video, this time on the Beatles. I didn't want to do another rapper artist, so I thought, how do I branch out? What other artists could I talk about? Oh, how about the most popular artist probably ever? I don't really need to introduce the Beatles. You know them. I sure hope you do. Before we get into this, I should preface by saying that this ranking is my opinion. Last time, some of you Tyler fans could not be good little boys and girls and differentiate between my opinion and your opinion. If you are mean about my ranking, I'm not going to be so nice next time, okay? I let it slide, I'm not letting it slide again. Especially over the freaking Beatles! Also, I will not be ranking the Yellow Submarine album. Firstly, because it's mostly made up of already existing Beatles songs. And second, the other half is just orchestral songs not even made by the Beatles. So is it really even a Beatles album? No. Alright, let's just get this ranking started. In last place, we have With the Beatles. Spoilers for the rest of the ranking, but the older Beatles stuff is not as good as the later Beatles stuff. This album's biggest problem is the fact that it's so forgettable. Yeah, there were a handful of okay songs and a couple of good ones, but I'm having a hard time remembering most of the songs that were on it. It's just, out of all the old Beatles albums, this one's the worst by far. Alright, next up we have Beatles for Sale. This one's a pretty interesting one historically for the Beatles because this is where they were still doing the old stuff that made them big, but they also wanted to branch out and do their own thing. There are some good songs like 8 Days a Week and I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. I really like I'll Follow the Sun. I'm the only person who does. But that was one of the very first Beatles songs I ever listened to, and I think it's amazing still, so I think the first half of the album is actually good, but I don't know, there are a few duds in the later half which kind of weigh it down, but it's whatever. It's perfectly fine, but I'm glad this album exists because what would come after it wouldn't have if they didn't try to do new stuff on this one. Continuing on the old Beatles train, we have their debut, Please Please Me. It's kind of crazy how, out of all albums, it's their debut that has all the absolute classics on it. I mean, I know, it's their debut, but especially when you think about With the Beatles and a couple other ones later down the line, this one has just the overall best classic songs that they made. I Saw Her Standing There, title track, P.S. I Love You, man, just amazing songs. If the entire album just had originals, this would be a certified banger album, but there are covers and they don't do it for me. I know it was a whole thing about the label wants you to do it because that's how you drive sales and whatever, but it's come on man, you can't tell me they had a bunch of other original songs that they could put here. Overall, it's alright. That being said, it's what helped them achieve what they would later achieve, and you know what? I can't hate it for that. Going from their debut to their technically final album, Let It Be. This one's interesting because even though it's labeled as a Beatles album, it's kind of not. To make a long story short, this album was basically unfinished, and they decided to just put it on the shelf and work on another album. But then some guy, I don't even know, some producer was like, wow, look at this. I take Beatles album and then I make it my own. With that being said though, it's pretty okay. I really like Long and Winding Road, Two of Us, Get Back. Yeah, there's good songs, but there are unfortunately some pretty forgettable songs like One After 909, Dig It, which it's not even a song, it's an interlude. John made it, you know it's weird. Yeah, that's basically what I have to say about it. It's fine, but to really think. Up next, we're throwing it back with A Hard Day's Night, baby. I think this is the quintessential old school Beatles album. Now there is another one. Why does the camera do that? Now there is another one that I will talk about relatively soon that I think is better. But if you want the best of old school Beatles, this is it. All the singles are really good. The title track, Can't Buy Me Love, and I Love Her. Oh, that one especially is so beautiful. Ooh. I don't think there's like an objectively bad song. The scale goes from decent to good to wowzers. Oh my god, I cannot believe I just said that. Yeah, it's pretty good, all things considered. Alright, now it's time for when the list might become a little bit controversial. Magical Mystery Tour. I understand why a lot of people aren't really fond of this album because it came after an album that we'll get to. So it kind of seems like retreading the same ground, if you will, and it's just not as good as what came before. That being said, it's still good. It's also kind of on the shorter end. I don't know if this is the shortest Beatles album, don't quote me on that, but I think because of that it leans more towards quality over quantity, if you will. I also really like how they experimented with it. Yeah, I know they did it with the previous album, but I think this one especially, they sort of, I don't know, just like let go of all restraints. They were just like, forget it. I'll make it as weird as I want. Alright, this next one almost got in the top 5. It was so close. So very close. It's Help. The reason why I like Help more than A Hard Day's Night is that it's more consistent throughout the whole album. And I do like the singles just a little bit more, like You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, title track, Ticket to Ride. It's also got some pretty good underrated songs like The Night Before and I've Just Seen a Face. By the way, that guitar work on the latter song, exquisite. Oh, I can't believe I didn't mention it. It has Yesterday. Do I just need to say more? Do I need to say more? No. No, I didn't. Getting into the top 5, we have... I really have to talk about this, don't I? I really have to talk about the freaking White Album. The White Album both amazes me and disappoints me on a level I've never imagined possible. To use a fairly recent example, this album reminds me a lot of Cherry Bomb by Tyler, the Creator. There's a lot of good stuff on that Tyler album, but there's also some inexcusable filth. The same applies for the White Album. It is their one and only double album. My god, it shows sometimes. The first disc has just... it has so many amazing songs, like too many to list. But then you get to the second disc, and it's like, what? I don't understand how you can have such amazing songs and then also be like, you know what? The only way we can make this a double album is if we have more songs. Oh, I remember that one song that everyone in the band hated and our producers couldn't stand to listen to. Put it on the album. Watch this. I'm literally gonna traumatize every Beatles fan in 3 seconds.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
Listen, this should not have even been a double album. This should have been one single album with like 16 of the really good songs. You put that on one album. It's the best Beatles album, bar none. But no. We need Revolution 9 and Wild Honey Pie and all these garbage songs just to make it a double album. Oh, it's a selling point. No, it's not a selling point. It's filth. It's slop on a freaking album. Look, this piece of... I'm going next. I don't care. God. Bro, no wonder this almost broke up the band. Jesus. You know what the White Album should have been? Revolver. Revolver is definitely when the Beatles were like, let's experiment for the first time and take some risks. And those risks definitely paid off. This album is awesome. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Here, There, and Everywhere. Oh my god. Yes. This album also steers very back and forth. You got experimental songs like Love Me Do, and then you got like Good Day Sunshine. It's literally like this, almost the entire album. But you know what? I could care less. With that being said though, there are just a couple not so great songs. I'm tired of Yellow Submarine, okay? Yeah, I know. It's the Kitty Beatles. I don't care. It is annoying. Dr. Robert also is just like, I don't know. It feels like Dr. Robert was made like 3 years before this album came out, and they were just like, put it on. Who cares? We're the Beatles. With all that being said, though, it's still a really good album. You both get the experimental Beatles and the really lush sounding whatever beat. I don't know how to describe it. You get both ends of what makes the Beatles such a great band in one album. All right, top 3. Oh, baby, baby. I'm gonna gush so hard. Taking the bronze medal, we got Rubber Soul. Now, it's kind of hard not to talk about this album without mentioning that some of the Beatles would partake in blazing, if you will. That's not to say that whenever they were recording, they were, you know, but it made them go freaking buck wild with how they use their voices or whatever. And oh my god, it's just so good. What? It's so good. I personally think this is the most beautiful sounding Beatles album. Freaking Norwegian Wood with the sitar. Oh my god. And then you got Nowhere Man with the vocals. Ah! It also has my personal favorite Beatles song, Michelle, on it, which just sounds... Bro, it's so good. I can't believe this isn't number 1, honestly. I really can't. In My Life and Girl are also really good. I think there's only one objectively like weak song, which is the finale. Like, it didn't really need to be there, to be honest. Like, you could have ended it with In My Life, and that would have been an awesome way to end it, but whatever. Yeah, Rubber Soul is freaking... I love it. These next two shouldn't surprise you, honestly. I know I make the joke of number 1 shouldn't surprise you, but like, objectively speaking, like, come on. You think you're gonna beat these two? Speaking of number 2, Sgt. Pepper. You know how influential it is. You know how good it is. You know this stuff already, and yet I'm going to repeat what people have been said. This album is masterpiece. As much as I enjoy the really wild and experimental songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds or whatnot, I really like when they just do a little bit more stripped down with songs like Fixing a Hole and When I'm 64. I really like those ones too. She's Leaving Home is probably the most underrated Beatles song in my opinion. And A Day in the Life is just a fantastic closer. It might be my favorite song on the whole thing. Trying to pick your favorite song off of this, it ain't gonna be easy. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? It's an amazing album. And at the top of the hill, mountaintop, whatever you say, come on, you know, it's Abbey Road. While I like when the Beatles get experimental and wild, when they just go back to their roots and do their normal rock things, it's equally as amazing. And this is what Abbey Road is. And it's just, oh my god, there is not a single bad song on this whole album. Not even mediocre, okay? Every song is banger on top of banger on top of banger, boy. This album easily shows just how on top of the game every Beatles member was. Like, they went stupid on this album. Even the Ringo song, even Octopus's Garden is good. Like, how do you do that? How do you make a Ringo song just actually like good? No offense, Ringo, but like, come on. And oh my god, I haven't even talked about the Sweet. Oh my god. I shouldn't say Sweet, it's actually medley, but just, it's perfect. It's perfect. This whole album is perfect. Why are we even mentioning this? All the motifs they use are amazing. Sun King especially. Oh my. The whole album just sounds absolutely phenomenal. It feels like you're in a dream, really, that you just never want to leave. I don't need to say anything more. It's phenomenal. It is the best Beatles album by far. No question about it. I don't care what you think. I don't care. That's going to do it for this ranking. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave a respective comment about what your ranking is, I'd love to hear it. If it's respectful. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.